Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 19th episode of a story in which 10-year-old Naruto meets Minato from future and that turns Naruto's life upside down. As Naruto lives a happy life in which he is trained by Minato and later Kushina too. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started. But it was not the Akatsuki uniform what shocked Naruto. It was the face that replaced Yagura's. A face with an orange spiral mask and a single eye hole. It's been a while since the last time we meet. It was the day of your birth, Naruto. Will you be a good boy and surrender to me without protest, or should I use some persuasion? It doesn't matter, you will come with me, you like it or not, said Uchiha Madara. Unaware of Naruto's problem, Haku and Sakura continued with their escape. It happened to be something harder than they expected. A pair of snow ninjas found them and they had to fight for their lives. They won at the end, but it took a lot of effort. As medic nins they were more prepared to support their more combat-oriented partners than being the main fighters. That was close, commented Sakura. Yes, if it was not for your Genjutsu and my Hyotan we would be back to ourselves or even dead, said Haku. If we manage to return to Konoha, I'll ask Tsunade-sensei to teach me her super strength technique. She said that I could master it in some months if I train hard, she said. It will be a great addition for your team. I'll ask Zabuza-sama for Kenjutsu training as soon as I manage to find a sword that would fit to me. My problem is that I'm not made for Zanbatas nor conventional ninja swords, commented Haku. Haku, why do you call your father Zabuza-sama? I know that I'm nobody to judge your family's customs, but I find it strange, said Sakura. Troublesome old habit. Now I have to find a quick excuse before Sakura-chan begins to suspect that Zabuza-sama is not my real father, thought Haku. Crash. The sound of a nearby wall being destroyed made the medics forget about what they were talking about. A pair of figures got into the same corridor as them while the atmosphere got filled by an oppressive killing intent. The first figure and the source of the killing intent was a transformed Naruto. His whisker marks were now thicker, his eyes turned red with red slits, his nails turned into claws, and he was covered by a layer of red chakra that had the shape of a fox with two tails. The other figure was a man that Haku recognized from Kushina's descriptions. Shit. It's Madara. And Naruto is using the Kyuubi's chakra, thought Haku. Although Naruto had a very short temper, he was not the type of person who held grudges. A good proof of that was that he forgave Konoha for the treatment he received. Vengeance just didn't fit Naruto's cheerful personality. The young Jinchuriki was aware that revenge could destroy a person. He had Sasuke's future self and his obsession with revenge as example of a path he shouldn't take. However, his current adversary was something completely different. Before him was the main responsible of his parents' death, the reason why his father sealed the Kyuubi within him, the one who started a chain of events that turned him, the Hokage's son, into the village's pariah. The Kyuubi attack. His father death. His mother being turned into ghost and forced to watch powerless how he lived without a family. The glares. The loneliness. It's all your fault, exclaimed Naruto while he charged at Madara. And Naruto? What is happening to you? Asked Sakura, scared. Don't get into his way. He is using the Kyuubi's chakra. In that state it's very likely that he couldn't distinguish friend from foes and he could end hurting us, said Haku. Shouldn't we help him? If his enemy made him use the fox then he must be very dangerous, said Sakura. Haku denied with his head. No, we only would get in their way. The best we could do is to watch and wait for a chance to help, said Haku. Both combatants ignored the presence of the medic nins and continued their fight. Madara tried to hurt Naruto with a fireball jutsu, but the Jinchuriki dispelled the fire with a mere cry before it hit him. I didn't expect that the boy would attack me in such a vicious way at my presence. The Kyuubi's cloak is a true annoyance. I can't use Daijutsu because his chakra would burn me at the time I turn material. Seeing how he dispelled the fireball, it looks like normal jutsus are out of question and I can't use my strongest ones because I could end killing him, so it's time to try Genjutsu. If Kisame and Samato were here things would be very different, thought Madara. Meanwhile, after having most mist forces defeated by Konoha ninjas, Mei, Ao and Chojuro were hidden behind a pile of snow while they observed how Arashi and Kushina sealed the Rakubi into a big scroll while the rest of the Hand of Death watched the process. Ao managed to escape from Hiyashi with his Byakugan intact thanks to the tags that protected the eye, sealing it before Hiyashi tried to rip it off. However, Ao himself didn't end unscratched and his battle against the Hyuga Patriarch ended with him having a third of body paralyzed. Ao-senpai, Mei-senpai, shouldn't we take the swords that we managed to recover and leave? The chances of Konoha's forces finding us increase at each second, said Chojuro while he tended Ao's wounds. I know, but we can't leave without finding out if the Mizukage is alive or not. Our cage's safety is more important than our lives, said Ao. Mei didn't say anything. She kept observing the sealing procedure with an attentive look. I never imagined that Konoha would have somebody apart from the rumored Makuten man able to contain it unleashed by Juo. If Zabuza manages to convince them to help us against Yagura, we would have victory in our hands. At first I thought that he decided to abandon the rebellion when he joined Konoha, that he would just support us with fun, but after I saw how powerful he was now and the abilities of his new allies, I understand Zabuza's choice better, she thought. With Minato and Kushina okay, the Rakubi is completely sealed, now we just have to add the security seals and the work will be done. What's going on, Kushi-chan? I feel that something is bothering you, asked Minato through their link. Something is wrong, I never felt like that since the Kyuubi was released, we have to find Naruto as soon as possible, responded Kushina. Suddenly, a wall of Doto's base was destroyed and killing intent filled the area. Everyone looked speechless how Naruto, now with 3 chakra tails and more animalistic features, tried to smash a masked man dressed in black with red clouds patterns using a gigantic claw made of red chakra. Damn it, cursed Madara, Genjutsu also fails. I can't control neither Naruto nor the Kyuubi, in this state their chakras are mixed and dispel automatically any Genjutsu at the time I cast them. Kyuubi is not a mindless beast as the Sanbi, and Naruto was not suggested to a brainwash process as Yagura. Well, worse for them, they forced me to use the jutsus I was holding back, he thought while he performed some hand signs. Just at the time he finished the hand signs, a figure attacked him at a spectacular speed. Rasengan, exclaimed Minato. If it was not for his decades of experience and his Sharingan, would have received Minato's attack, interrupting the jutsu he was trying to do in the process. Minato and Kushina were now between Madara and Naruto, both parents irradiating a killing intent that rivalized with the boys. Mom? Dad? You came here, said Naruto. He still recognizes them? He seems to have better control of the Kyuubi's power than his future selves after being trained by Jiraiya. How is this possible? Never mind, I'll keep sticking to the plan, thought Madara. Long time no see you, Minato-kun, Kushina-chan. I was having a very entertaining chat with Naruto-kun a few moments ago. You should teach your kid some manners, he was very rude with me although I was one of the first persons who held him on arms, even before you. Why don't you let me take the brat and extract the Kyuubi? I bet that he would survive the extraction process, you're the proof of that, Kushina-chan, said Madara. The only thing that prevented Kushina to charge at Madara was Minato's message. Don't do it, Kushina, that is what he wants. Against an opponent like Madara you have to keep your head cool. He only needs a mistake from our part to defeat us, said Minato. Kushina was about to protest but she noticed a small trickle of blood coming from Minato's hand, he was clenching his fists so hard that his palms were bleeding. Kushina nodded and got in a fighting stance. The remaining members of the Hand of Death and the Jonin teachers didn't keep watching. In a few seconds all of them were surrounding Madara. Give up, Madara. You have no chance against all of us, said Kakashi. You are right, I'll leave this problem to my subordinate, the one whose body I am controlling, responded Madara. Konoha ninjas looked surprised how Madara turned into Yagura, who looked at them with disdain. So this is the Akatsuki possession technique. What a terrible jutsu, with this skill our enemies can fight from a safe place without risking their lives, thought Hiashi. I knew it. You were always the puppet of an enemy, exclaimed Zabuza. Yagura ignored Zabuza's remark and got in a battle stance. My master ordered me to kill you all minus the Kyuubi boy, prepare to die, said in an emotionless tone. Hayate was the first to attack using his Mikazuki no Mai, Dance of the Crescent Moon. But the attack was blocked by a chakra arm similar to Naruto's. You are stronger than I expected, it looks like I will have to fight you at full power since the beginning, said Yagura while he began to transform into the Sanbi. Quickly. We must stop him before he is fully transformed, exclaimed Kushina while she summoned her chakra chains. However, an attack coming her flank stopped her. Minato, Kushina, your opponent is me, said Madara while he materialized at their side. Let Naruto and your friends deal with Yagura. You can help them if you can defeat me, then prepare to die. You can't defeat both of us at the same time, responded Minato. I don't think so. Kage Bunshine no Jutsu, exclaimed Madara. 9 Madara clones appeared surrounding Minato and Kushina, cutting their way towards Naruto and their allies. Surprised? I have the Sharingan and Kage chakra levels, of course I can perform this technique, said Madara. Minato and Kushina got back to back. This is bad. With his time-space technique he can make his cage bunshines intangible, thus denying their main weakness, said Minato. We will find a way to defeat them, there is always one, said Kushina. Meanwhile, Yagura ended his transformation into the Sanbi. The Konoha ninjas could see his upper body protruding from the Sanbi's head, still looking at them with an emotionless face. Prepare to die, said Yagura. What came next were two of the most spectacular battles ever seen. Naruto, the Hand of Death, and the Jonin Sensei versus the Sanbi. Minato and Kushina versus Madara. Placed at a safe distance by order of the older ninjas, Lee, Neji, Tenten and Sasuke watched in amazement the battles, trying to assume that it was not a dream. And Naruto is using the Kyuubi's power, isn't him? Asked Tenten. Neji nodded. Yes, he is. I can sense two chakra sources when I look at him with my Byakugan, said Neji. I didn't know that Naruto-kun was trained to use the Kyuubi. He told me that he wouldn't try to use it until he was stronger and older because it was too dangerous, said Lee. Sasuke didn't say anything. After the Suna incident he already knew how powerful Jinchurikis could be. What intrigued him the most was the combat between Naruto's parents and the mysterious man they called Madara. He is named like the co-founder of Konoha and the ex-leader of my clan. Could they be the same? What kind of technique is he using? He can teleport and make himself intangible, thought Sasuke. Unknown to everybody, there was another person watching the battles. Because his position, he couldn't see properly the battle between the Uzumakis and the masked man. He didn't want to be spotted by the Akatsuki member anyways, so he didn't make any effort to get a better place to watch. His attention was all focused at the fight against the Sanbi. So this is the power granted by the Baijuas. No wonder why Akatsuki wants to capture them so much. The Konoha ninjas are good, but their attacks seems to be useless against the Sanbi's armor. The only one who seems able to hurt it is the Uzumaki boy using the Kyuubi's power. Perhaps I should try to capture a Baijuo myself, that power would be priceless for my plan, thought the hooded man. The battle of Minato and Kushina against Madara and his clones turned out to be a cat-and-mouse game where the combatants switched roles constantly. The couple couldn't relax their guard while Madara and his clones couldn't attack without exposing themselves to be hit at the time they turned material. It was a very stressful battle. The battle against Yagura was more an exchange of attacks and defenses against them. The Hand of Death ended finding out that the ice attacks from Zabuza's sword could hinder the Sanbi, giving them a slight advantage, but they were beginning to get tired from the constant fight while their enemy didn't seem to be winded at all. If we keep like this we will lose. Naruto is the only one who doesn't look tired, but he alone can't fight against the Yagura and the Sanbi. Unless he begins to use more tails, but it would be too dangerous, thought Asuma. Meanwhile, the other battle turned slowly at Minato and Kushina's favor. Although their bodies were scattered by minor wounds caused by Madara's attacks, they managed to destroy most of the clones and managed to stab a kunai on Madara's shoulder. The Uchiha took off the kunai from his shoulder, still confused about how hard it was to fight them. Their teamwork is not natural, they seem to know what the other think and see. They are fighting like they were the same. It looks like I'm fighting two of Nagato's bodies, thought Madara while he watched at Minato and Kushina. An image of Hashirama Senju and Mito Uzumaki appeared on Madara's mind and overlapped on Minato and Kushina. History is repeating again. My plans interfered by a stupid Hokage and his annoying Uzumaki wife, thought Madara. Never mind, my clone took the item to my base, it's time to end this. Madara made a strange hand sign. An horrible scream was heard. What was that? Asked Minato. Oh, that? I just activated the seal I put over Yagura's, destroying it, the same I used on Utakata-kun, said Madara. The Uzumakis turned their attention from Madara from a few seconds to see how Yagura was overcome by his Baijuo, dying in the process. You monster! It was you, exclaimed Kushina. The other group watched horrified how, with its host dead, the Sanbi turned into a mindless beast that began to attack at everything. The turtle began to shoot water streams at incredible pressure, destroying everything on their way. The Konoha group tried to dodge them, but one of those streams went directly towards Asuma and Kurenai. However, they were pushed by Naruto at the last second, who took the hit in their place and was sent violently towards Doto's base. Naruto's last image that Naruto got before he lost consciousness was the vision of his right arm being amputated by the strength of the impact. Naruto! Exclaimed Minato and Kushina at the same time. They tried to go to help him again, but Madara and his clones got again on their way. Where do you think you are going? We didn't end our brawl yet, he said. Grower. The entire section of Doto's base where Naruto was sent exploded. From the smoke emerged a creature that looked like a miniaturized Kyuubi. No. He got into the four-tail state, thought Kushina. The mini Kyuubi charged at the Sanbi and began to hit the turtle viciously. The Konoha ninjas realized that if the best they could do was to keep away from them, there was no way they could help. The battle slowly turned into Naruto's favor. The size difference didn't matter at all when the Kyuubified Naruto could elongate his limbs and make them bigger. Then, the mini-Kyuubi began to gather chakra, forming a ball before him that he swallowed. Quickly! Take cover, he is going to use the Baiju Udama, tailed beast ball, exclaimed Kakashi. Broom! The terrific chakra ray expelled by the mini-Kyuubi made a clear impact on the Sanbi, sending it dozens of meters away and destroying everything on its way. Nobody could say anything at such display of power. When the smoke dispelled, they could see the Sanbi completely knocked out. Madara dispelled his clones, surprising Minato and Kushina. "What are you doing?" they asked. Without saying a word, Madara teleported at the Sanbi's location. "I think that I will take this Baiju to my base. I'm very grateful to Naruto for knocking it out for me." "Oh. And thank you for sealing the Rakubi for me too. It is already in a safe place. We will postpone our fight for another time." "Sayonara," said Madara while he and the Sanbi disappeared in Madara's particular teleporting method. "No," exclaimed Minato appearing at their side, but it was too late and his enemy escaped with the Sanbi. His battle against us was just a distraction while one of his clones took the scroll with the Rakubi, realized Kushina. Grower. Her thoughts were interrupted by the mini-Kyuubi. With its prey gone, it was furious and began to attack everyone and everything. It was about to hit Zabuza when an ice covered its body. "Zabuza-sama, get away from him. I don't know how much I will be able to contain him," said Haku while he pummeled chakra on the ice covering the mini-Kyuubi. "Haku!" exclaimed Zabuza while getting away from the mini-Kyuubi. The Hyoton boy didn't lie when he said that he couldn't contain the mini-Kyuubi for too long and fainted in Sakura's arms from chakra exhaustion. The mini-Kyuubi, recognizing Haku as the source of the ice, charged at him. "No!" exclaimed Kushina while she ran towards them. Unfortunately, she was too far away to reach Naruto with her chakra chains before he hit Haku. "Please stop," said a figure who got between Haku and Naruto. Hiyashi recognized said figure as his daughter. "Hinata! Stay away from him, in this state he can't distinguish friends from enemies," he exclaimed. The girl ignored her father's warning and didn't move. The mini-Kyuubi stopped before her. It looked confused at Hinata's presence. "Naruto-kun, please stop. It's over there, no enemies left, only friends and me," said Hinata at the verge of tears while she touched the mini-Kyuubi's cheek. Everyone looked speechless how she touched it without being burnt by the chakra. Kushina then realized the Shodai's necklace glowing on Hinata's neck. The chakra stone is protecting Hinata, she thought. The mini-Kyuubi looked confused at Hinata and touched her cheek too. "Hinata-chan," it said. The red chakra began to disappear, revealing Naruto. They looked at their eyes for few seconds and embraced each other. And they shared a kiss. Minato was furious, not only furious but also very frustrated for not being able to stop Madara to get the Baijuus. He completely manipulated us. One of the main ways to stop Madara's plan was to keep him away from the Jinkaikis and the Baijuus, but he already captured 2 of them thanks to our involuntary help, he thought. Meanwhile, Kushina, who was still teasing Hinata, sensed Minato's frustration and headed to him, leaving the teasing for later. She hugged her husband from behind. "What's going on, Min-kun? Why are you so mad?" she asked through their link. "I'm angry with Madara for getting away with the Baiju, but essentially I'm angry with myself for letting him escape," he responded. "Don't be angry with yourself, Min-kun. Don't you remember what you told me? The real winners of a conflict are the ones who achieve their goal. The truth is that we won. We came to this country to save Naruto and the others and we achieved it. We also managed to defeat Doto's men for Princess Yuki. The Baiju were just an unexpected bonus that we couldn't get at the end, but we got the most important thing, our Naru-chan is safe. And now Hinata-chan and him are finally together," reasoned Kushina. Minato looked at her. She noticed the smile that was forming underneath his mask. "My precious Kushi-chan, you always make me feel better, no matter how bad I feel. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with you," said Minato while he kissed her. Meanwhile, Naruto kept being chased by Hiyashi. "See, couldn't we talk about this in a more civilized manner? I know that I shouldn't have kissed Hinata before asking you permission to get out with her, but you were taking things too far," said Naruto. Responded Hiyashi. Suddenly, a figure rising from the rubble appeared before Naruto. It was Doto. He looked a bit bruised, with his chakra armor having some cracks. "Damn you, Konoha ninjas. I'm not finished yet. Prepare to feel the fury of my black dragon," he exclaimed while he performed some hand seals. Naruto ignored his threat and continued running towards him. "Get out of my way. Rasengan, exclaimed Naruto while slamming the familiar jutsu on Doto's gut before he finished the hand seals. Although Doto's armor was designed to absorb ninjutsu attacks, it was not in the best condition after the previous hits, and the Rasengan was an A-class jutsu, considered the peak of shape manipulation. Doto looked in disbelief how his armor was pierced by the Rasengan before feeling the effects on the jutsu on himself and being sent several meters away with his innards pulverized. "Great. For a moment I thought that we would have to look for him in the ruins," commented Kakashi. Some minutes later, Hiyashi finally calmed down and came back to his senses. The Hyuga Patriarch was now chatting with the other adults about the mission while sending occasional looks to Naruto, who was holding hands with Hinata while talking to some of his friends. "It was about time you confessed to each other," said Sakura. "What? Do you knew that we liked each other?" asked Naruto. "Almost all Konoha knew about Hinata's feelings for you," said Tenten. Hinata turned red in embarrassment. "Yosh. It is so great to see how my youthful teammates finally admitted their mutual feelings," exclaimed Lee. "I really hope that you will treat Hinata-sama properly, Naruto. The Hyuga clan won't tolerate anything that would stain the honor of the heiress." "I will consider it something personal," said Neji in a slight menacing tone. "Nisan," thought Hinata, happy to see how much her cousin cared for her. "Of course I will. Who do you think I am?" asked Naruto, offended. "The apprentice of a self-proclaimed super pervert and the author of semi-pornographic novels," remarked Sasuke while he appeared with Pichi on his shoulder. "Sasuke," babbled Sakura, turning red. The pink cat felt too ashamed to talk to Sasuke after the confession she made to him just before she decided to impersonate Princess Yuki to save her. It was not the first time that Sakura confessed her love to Sasuke, she did several times, but the circumstances of that time didn't leave any doubt about how legitimate were her feeling for Sasuke. The Uchiha looked at Sakura's green eyes with a serious face. Then, to everybody's surprise, a kind smile appeared on his face. "I'm glad to see that you are alive, Sakura. But please, don't try to do something again like that again. Leave that kind of stunts to airheads like Naruto or Lee," said Sasuke while he put a hand on Sakura's shoulder, making her blush. "Hey! Who are you calling an airhead?" exclaimed Naruto. "Sorry, did you say something?" asked Sasuke. "Don't try to act cool like Kakashi-sensei." "You know perfectly what I said," exclaimed while he grabbed Sasuke's face. "Do you want me to return you to Konoha in a wheelchair, baka?" responded an angry Sasuke, grabbing Naruto's jacket. "Ha! I would like to see how you do it, duck hair," teased Naruto. "Don't insult Sasuke-kun, you baka," exclaimed Sakura while grabbing Naruto. "A brawl. Let me join, I will show you how much I progressed," exclaimed Lee, joining the fight. Please don't fight," said Hinata. "Let them be, Hinata-sama, it will help to relieve the stress," said Neji. "What's going on?" asked Tenten. "I leave for a moment to check how is Haku and I find out that there's a fight. It is just a friendly spar." "How is Haku, by the way?" asked Neji. "He is alright, he is just low of chakra. Zabuza-sama is taking care of him," said Tenten. "It is a relief to know that Haku is fine," thought Naruto while fighting. "Hey, Pichi. Stop biting my arm. It is your fault for fighting with it exposed," responded the kitten. Naruto realized that his jacket missed the right sleeve. "It's strange. I have a memory of me losing my right arm while I was fighting the Sanbi, but it is still here. Oh well, I can't remember well what really happened during that fight. The most probable thing is that the Sanbi's attack just ripped the sleeve and I thought that I lost the arm. Yes, this must be what actually happened," he thought. Unbeknown to the Konoha ninjas, 3 pairs of eyes were observing them, Mei, Ao, and Chojuro, the surviving Mist ninjas. "The Mizukage is dead," babbled Chojuro. Mei nodded. "Yes, but it is not what really matters. Zabuza's accusations were actually true. Yagura was being controlled by a foreign ninja," she said. "And now he is Mist's by Juice while Konoha acquired the Mist swords that we couldn't rescue," said a slink-off Ao. "Shouldn't we try to recover them? Those swords are Mist's national treasures," exclaimed an enraged Chojuro. "Forget about it, Chojuro," said Mei to Chojuro. "The 3 of us are no match for Zabuza's new allies, they are too numerous and powerful. What we have to do is take the swords that we saved and return to Mist to inform about what happened and choose a new Mizukage immediately. Our village is still in a very unstable situation," ordered Mei. Chojuro looked defiantly at Mei and seemed about to protest, but at the end he nodded and took the swords. Ao looked surprised at the young nin's outburst. "It looks like the boy actually has guts. I shouldn't be surprised, unlike the other new swordsman he was the only one who proved to be worth of his sword. Now that I think about it, Now I understand why Yagura gave the swords to those weak idiots instead to more competent and experienced ninjas. The man who controlled him wanted to weaken Mist, increasing the chances of the swords being lost in battle. Same happened with the blood limits purges, thought Thao. The Mist ninjas waited until the Konoha ninjas left the battlefield before getting out from their hideout and depart to Mist. None of the two groups noticed the hooded man who headed towards the ruins of Dota's castle once they left. He looked at the pile of debris created when the Sanbi attacked Naruto. Yes, it must be there, I smell the blood, he thought. A pair of snakes emerged from his sleeves and got into the debris. The hooded man waited patiently until the snakes emerged carrying something with them. It was a human arm. In an orange sleeve. Obediently, the snakes gave the arm to their master and went back to their place. Coo. It was a great idea to change the place to observe the battle of the Uzumaki brat. I'm the only one who noticed how he lost the arm from the Sanbi's attack. Even him didn't realize it. The data I have about him and his father tells that they could regrow body parts with enough time, but I didn't imagine that the Kyuubi's chakra could accelerate the process to make it in a few seconds, thought Orochimaru while he retired his hood. His yellow snake-like eyes looked at the arm with morbid curiosity. At first I came to this country hoping to get Doto's help for my plans. It is a pity that it is no longer possible. But at least this visit won't be a complete waste of time. What kind of secrets will I discover from this arm? I can't wait to begin to experiment with it. Even if I can't get anything from it, I always can give some of the Uzumaki brat's blood to Hidan and have a quick way to dispose of him if he turns into a problem. Coo, thought the Sannin while he headed back to his lair. Some days later the Konoha ninjas watched vehemently how Koyuki inserted her necklace into the device created by her father. It was the day of Koyuki's coronation as the new daimyo. After finding out the truth about the death of Koyuki's father, the remaining Snow Ninjas pledged loyalty to her and they were now at the side of the guests of honor, the Konoha Ninjas, taking care of the security of the act. There was also a crowd formed by citizens from all parts from Snow Country who came to greet their new ruler. Dota was not a very popular leader, after all. At first nothing happened, but some seconds later the generator began to work and everyone looked in awe how the snow melted and the temperature rised. Our daimyo brought spring to our home, exclaimed a citizen. Long live to Koyuki-sama, the ruler of Spring Country, exclaimed another. Koyuki-sama, our daimyo. The new daimyo responded to the hails of her new citizens with a smile. But this smile was completely sincere, not like the one she faked during her career as an actress. As happened in the original timeline, she was no longer the traumatized woman who acted cold towards people, although this time the main responsible for her change was not Naruto but Sakura by the heroic stunt the Kunoichi made to save Sasuke and her. Koyuki began a speech about how grateful she was to her people for the warm welcome, about how much she would work to be a good ruler and about how she would continue with her movie career to her fans' relief. She will keep making movies? Then tell her to not count with me, said Zabuza. After the battle they found out that the director and the movie staff filmed the whole fights. The Konoha ninjas destroyed the parts of the films that contained the Baijuis and Naruto using the Kyuubi, much to the director's chagrin, and forbid the director and the staff to tell about Naruto's power under the threat of torture and death for revealing Konoha's military secrets. However, the remaining material was so good that the producers contacted Jiraiya and hired the Konoha ninjas for more scenes. After some script changes, all the females got important roles as Princess Yuki's Kunoichi allies. I still remember their faces when we told them that Haku was a boy, commented Minato. By the way, what are you going to do now that Yagura is dead? Are you going to return to Mist and try to become Mizukage? Zabuza denied it. No, I won't come back yet. My presence only would bring more problems to Mist. Yagura died while fighting a group that I'm part of. Without him my allies there would have little trouble to get in charge. I'll return when things calm down, said Zabuza. What about Haku? I know from Kushina that he is very happy in Konoha. Will you take him when the time comes? Asked Minato. I will let him choose between return to Mist with me or stay in Konoha and enjoy the life he built there. The decision will be his, said Zabuza. In other times Haku would choose to come with me without any doubts, but after he hears what I'm planning to tell him at our return to Konoha I have doubts, thought Zabuza. It wouldn't be strange if he hates me after he finds out that his real father used him as a tool. The Konohanians were relaxing in the baths at the resort. The women's towels happened to be big enough to reach their knees, so actually their bodies were more covered than if they wore swimming suits. They had no reason to feel uneasy at the male's presence. It didn't persuade Hiashi and Neji to not keep an eye on Naruto. The Hyuga patriarch was making at his nephew had Hinata between and ignored Naruto's pleas to let him sit at her side. Come on, why I can't stay with her? "We are already a couple and I won't try to do anything to her," said Naruto. He is right, Tosan. Naruto-kun is a complete gentleman, he won't take advantage of me," said Hinata while she reminded with a blush the particular moment when they confessed to each other and she almost took advantage of him. "I told you before, Naruto. Until you get the Hyuga clan's approval to court Hinata, I can't let you two behave as a couple. It includes signs of affection. The rules are the rules," said Hiyashi. "But you are her father, who dates your daughter should be your problem and only yours," said Naruto. "You are right, I can take the decision myself without caring about the elder's opinion. The truth is that I don't want you to get my daughter so easily. You will have to suffer a little to get her so you will value her more," thought Hiyashi. It wouldn't be a problem if Hinata was a normal Hyuga, but she happens to be the clan heiress. Letting you to court her is a decision that can affect the clan and the elders have to be informed about it before I give you my permission in a ceremony. I know what you think about this formal stuff, but it is something you will have to be used to at the time you become Hokage, said Hiyashi. Naruto lowered his head in defeat. "Alright, I will wait until we return to Konoha to ask for your permission," he said. Hinata looked a bit sad how Naruto headed to talk with Lee and Haku, but her mood changed when she realized her father's words. Tosan said that the formal was something that Naruto would have to be used at the time he becomes Hokage. He didn't say if you become Hokage or something like that. He is taking for granted that Naruto-kun will become Hokage, she thought. "Tosan," she said. "Hinata, my daughter. I know that you don't like it. But the forms are very important for our clan," said Hiyashi. "It is not that, Tosan, I understand. I want to thank you for believing in Naruto-kun," said Hinata while she kissed her father's cheek. The conversation didn't go unnoticed for Minato and Kushina, who was leaning her head on his shoulder. "It looks like Hiyashi won't let his little Hinata go away so easily," commented Kushina through their link. "You know how our traditional clans like the Hyugas, they give a lot of importance to manners and protocol. Naruto in the future also had to ask for Hiyashi's permission to court Hinata in a formal ceremony," said Minato. "Yes, I remember it. The Hyuga elders were very eager to have the heiress of their clan having a relationship with the hero of Konoha and the Yondaime's son. Do you think that they would be so solicitous this time? They don't know who are you in reality, and Naruto didn't get yet the levels of popularity he achieved in the future," she said. "Don't worry about it. I had a small chat with Hiyashi and reminded him how bad I'd take it when somebody mistreats our son, that I wouldn't mind to reduce the Hyuga elders' numbers," he said. "How did Hiyashi take it?" asked Kushina. "He told me to not tempt him with things like that," responded Minato. Kushina giggled. "Kushi-chan, there is something that is bothering me," he said. "What it is, my love?" she asked. "It is about Naruto and the control he had of the Nine Tails. When he fought alongside our partners he was a three-tail state, but he could recognize them and he had control of his actions. Even more, although he lost control when he turned into a mini-Kyuubi with four tails, he still could recognize Hinata and turn back into normal state. At the present time he has better control of the beast than he had in the future after training with Jiraiya. How is it possible? Neither Jiraiya or me trained him to control the beast, we concentrated to make him stronger by himself," said Minato. Kushina smiled. "The answer is very simple, Min-kun. The reason Naruto in the future used to lose control of the Kyuubi was because the hatred of the beast overwhelmed him. It reminds me the words from Mito-sama when I met her. She told me that love was the only way to counter the Kyuubi's hatred. Naruto in this timeline received much more love than in the future. He has yours, mine, Hinata-chan's, and he got acceptance from the village and his friends earlier. For that reason he can resist better the Kyuubi's hatred even without training," she said. Minato retired the small towel that was covering his face for a brief moment and kissed Kushina on the lips. "What I would do without you, my whirlpool princess," he said. Meanwhile, Kurenai and Shizune were shooting discreet glances at Asuma and Kakashi respectively. Although Kurenai and Asuma already had a pair of dates, after being encouraged by their students, they were not officially a couple yet. However, finding out that Asuma was the most hunky of the men present was convincing her to give another step in their relationship. Shizune for her part has been developing a crush for Kakashi, after forgetting about his chronic laziness, understandable once you know about his past, his obsession to hide his face and his habit to read Jiraiya's books in public, not the fact that he read them, just where he did it. Kakashi happened to be one of the best men in Konoha with his unquestionable loyalty to his comrades, his professionalism in mission, and he happened to be a pleasant person once he opened, and don't forget how hot he looks behind the mask, thought Shizune, reminding that time she saw his face during a mission. Meanwhile, Asuma and Kakashi were doing their best to not look directly at any of the females, no matter how covered they were. They still were dressed only in towels. An indiscreet glance could lead to some female fury, righteous or not. Hayate was having a very nice time. This bath was what he needed after all those days at Snow Country. He couldn't wait to return to Konoha and its warmer weather. Zabuza was trying to decide how to tell Haku the truth about his heritage once they returned to Konoha. Haku for his part was dragged by Lee in a competition to see who could endure more time without breathing. The second green beast of Konoha was so focused in the competition that he didn't notice what was happening between Sakura and Sasuke. The pink cat seemed to fell asleep and she was now leaning her head on Sasuke's shoulder. "Ah crap, she fell asleep, should I wake her up?" asked Sasuke to his cat summon Pichi, who was on his human form. "No, you can't. Female cat get very angry if someone suddenly wakes them up and you know how is Sakura Nichin's temper," he said. "Oh my. I'm leaning my head on Sasuke-kun's shoulder," thought Sakura, who was not asleep at all. "Can't wait until we tell Ino Pig," exclaimed inner Sakura. "I never noticed how feminine looks Tenten with her hair undone," thought Neji. "Why Neji is looking at me?" thought Tenten. "Just because I saw him naked by accident it doesn't give him the right to do the same to me. If he shows any sign to activate his Byakugan I will use the spoon and mouse trick on him later." Now dressed with the robes provided by the resort, the Konoha ninjas were going to have an informal meeting concerning their mission to Snow Country in order to write the report for the Hokage. Minato gave everyone some time to let the younger ninjas remind what happened. "Could you help me to dry my hair as you know, my love?" asked Kushina. "Of course, Kushi-chan," said Minato. The others looked strange how Kushina began to move locks of her hair while her husband passed his hands at their side. "What are they doing?" asked Sakura. "Dad is transforming his chakra to generate heat around his hand and he is using it to dry Mom's hair. They said that it is faster than a regular hair dryer and it helps Mom as training for her control over her hair and Dad for fire transformation," said Naruto. It is not a bad training for the fire. I should try to improve my control over fire," thought Sasuke. Other people instead of training saw a very romantic scene. "Why do I think that soon all married men in Konoha will be in charge of drying their wives' hair?" thought Hayate. After placing some sound suppression seals around the room to make sure that nobody would spy on them, Minato addressed to the other ninjas. "Okay, now you will describe all your battles in the most detailed way possible and your point of view of the mission. Take all the time you need," he said. Everybody made descriptions of their battles, detailing the techniques used by their enemies and how they fought them. Zabuza was very glad to find out that Haku learned some new moves for his blood limit. The most interesting descriptions were Naruto and Hinata's. Naruto explained them the plan he used to escape from the sand bee, skipping the detail of his real transformation to grow gills. They also skipped the part concerning their mutual confession and told everyone that they slept several meters away from each other, although it didn't prevent Naruto of Hiyashi and Neji looking at him with very inquisitive faces. Finally they described their battle against Reika with their various strategies and how at the end they defeated him with the Rasen no Mai, and Naruto decided to pretend to be captured in order to infiltrate Doto's base to save Sakura and Haku, and how he met Madara after he escaped from his cell. Naruto now can use water jutsus? He just has the affinities that beat mine. Another sign that I have to train more, thought Sasuke. Naruto felt how Hinata sent him a hurtful look when she reminded that part. "I'm sorry, Hinata-chan, but I just wanted to protect you," he said. "It's alright, Naruto-kun," she said smiling. Minato congratulated them for defeating such a powerful with their combination of planning, skill and teamwork, and berated Naruto for taking such risk. Hiyashi was satisfied to see that Naruto cared for Hinata enough to not drag her into that plan. Then everyone gave their own point of view of the battle where they fought the combined force of snow and mist, and this takes us to the next point, the loot that we got from that battle consisting in several swords from the mist and document about ninja lineages that Yagura Drop and Pichi rescued when the Mizukage seal was destroyed, said Minato. "I think that the document is the most valuable thing if it happens to be genuine. It describes the majority of ninja lineages since the Sage of the Six Paths with details about the most important persons and families," said Hiyashi. "And it proves that both Hyugas and Uchihas are descendants of the elder son of the Kage, while Shinjas and Uzumakas are from the younger. My own family also descends from that son. I can recognize some of them. Many other clans from Konoha and other villages are their descendants too. I have no doubt that this document is real. Great, just what we need, more food for the ego of the clans. With this scroll they can prove that their lineages are older than most noble families from the elemental countries," thought Minato. "I disagree. The most valuable thing are the swords. Knowing lineages won't strengthen the power of the village. These legendary weapons can," said Zabuza. "Could you describe them to us, Zabuza-san?" asked Asuma. This is Shibuki, also known as the explosion sword. As you can see, it has a scroll of exploding tags at one side. The tags explode only at the time they hit the desired opponent without damaging the user. Also, it has the property to reload another segment of tags after each hit. It is considered the most destructive one among mist swords, said Zabuza. Very interesting. I wonder if we could modify it to generate the improved explosive tags of our clan or even different types of tags, thought Kushina. Zabuza then took a sword that had two protruding blades emerging from the blade. This is one of the Kiba, fangs. Unfortunately, the mist ninjas escaped with its twin. They are known as the Thunder Swords and have been imbued by lightning, improving their cutting power to the point that they are claimed to be the sharpest swords in existence. Also, they could be used to conduct and amplify lighting release jutsu, said Zabuza. That sword. It is perfect for me. I have to convince the Hokage to let me wield it, thought Sasuke. The next sword was one that resembled an oversized needle. This is Nuabari, sewing needle. This sword has the ability to pierce all and stitch them together with the thin wire it includes. It is very useful to fight and immobilize large groups of enemies without killing them thanks to that property, although it is very painful for them. Ideal to capture enemies alive, said Zabuza. This is Kushimaru-senpai's sword, thought Haku, reminding Zabuza's former companion. Kushimaru Kuriari, an Edidian to be one of the swordsmen of the Mist, was one of Mist's best hunter ninjas. He assisted Zabuza in Haku's training, teaching him how to use needles as an effective weapon in battle to the point of being able to leave the target in a death-like state, and taught him the ways of the hunter nin. He also was the one who inspired Haku to wear a hunter nin mask when he assisted Zabuza. I have to become its next wielder. I owe it to Kushimaru, thought Haku. Finally, Zabuza showed the last sword. This is the Shuriken sword. Naruto already described it. The blade can turn into several great-sized shurikens that seek the opponent's chakra. It was created as substitute in case any of the 7 swords was lost. For that reason it is not as known as the others, said Zabuza. Tenten was looking at the sword with stars on her eyes. A sword that also can be used as a ranged weapon. It looks like its maker created it with me in mind. I wonder if I could convince them to let me use it, she thought. The reaction of Sasuke, Haku and Tenten didn't go unnoticed for the adult ninjas. It looks like there is already people interested in these weapons. Now that I realize it, with Hayate's Raijin and Kakashi's White Light Chakra saber, Konoha now controls more legendary swords than Mist. I hope that it wouldn't turn against us, thought Asuma. With the reports finished, they headed to the resort's restaurant, that happened to be a buffet. Really, we can eat all we want? How't that there are not restaurants like this at Konoha? Asked Naruto. Because there are Akimakis at Konoha, said Asuma, reminding that time he went to eat with Kuji's family. Everyone laughed. The dinner was very pleasant. Naruto managed to sit before Hinata and could give Hinata pieces of his food to taste whenever her father didn't look. Then they headed to the karaoke, where they had some funny situations, like the time Hiashi and Zabuza had to make a duet, or when Lee sang a romantic ballad. I wish that Shino was here, commented Sakura. He is one of the best singers I know. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Aburame compound, is Shino still hemmed in the big fridge, dear? Asked Shino's mother to her husband. Yes, he says that he won't get out until he gets a breed of bugs able to resist cold, while he babbled something about not being left behind next time, said Shibi. Back to the resort after having a great time, the Konoha nins decided that it was time to go to bed in order to wake up early and return to the village. For the arrangements, it was decided that Zabuza would share room with Haku, Kurenai with Shizune, Sakura with Denden, Kakashi with Asuma, Hayate with Sasuke. Hayate said that both Naruto and Lee tended to talk and fight in dreams. Lee even trained Naruto with Lee, Minato with Kushina, and finally the 3 Hyugas, Hiashi, Hinata and Neji, at the biggest room. Hiashi was very adamant about having they being together in the same room. He argued that it would make easier Neji's duty as protector of the main members. The truth was that Neji and Hiashi wanted to protect Hinata from Jiraiya's apprentice. Have a good rest. Tomorrow we return to Konoha, said Minato to everyone. Have a good night, Naru-chan, said Kushina while she kissed Naruto's forehead. Another boy of Naruto's age would have complained to his mother for that display of affection before other people, but Naruto, who lived as an orphan most his life, didn't care at all. Haku, Sasuke and Lee looked at them with a glint of envy. They also wouldn't mind to have a mother who wished them a good night. Then, to everybody's surprise, Minato took Kushina on his arms bridal style and headed to their room. Naruto looked strange at the other's reaction. What's going on? Why do you look at them so strange? They told me that this is the way a guy escorts the woman he loves to bed, he said. All the females awed at Naruto's words. He takes her to bed in bridal style all nights? Minato Dono is so romantic, they thought. Crap, if the thing with the hair drying was not enough, now they will tell Yugao and other women about this, and soon all men in Konoha will have to do the same as Minato-san to show our women that we love them, thought Hayate annoyed. However, the surprise of Minato taking Kushina on his arms was nothing compared to the surprise they had when Naruto proceeded to do the same with Hinata. "Eep," said a very blushing Hinata. "What the hell are you doing?" asked an angry Hiyashi. "I'm just escorting Hinata-chan to her room," responded Naruto like it was the most normal thing in the world. "This way of escorting is only allowed for married couples," exclaimed Hiyashi. "He is right, Naruto. It is not proper for you to escort Hinata to her room this way yet," said Kakashi. "Oh, sorry, Hiyashi-san," said Naruto while he put back Hinata. "Can I at least give her a good night kiss?" Hiyashi was about to tell Naruto to forget about it, but the pleading look on Hinata's eyes was too much for him. "Damn it, when did she learn that trick?" he thought. "Fine, but only one kiss," he said. Naruto nodded and kissed Hinata. "Hey! I was referring to a kiss on the cheek, not on the lips," exclaimed Hiyashi. At other place, trust is very rare in secretive organizations, especially if that organization was formed by S-class criminals like Akatsuki's case. By other way, secrets are very frequent. Some secrets can't be shared with all the members of the organization. Those secrets were only trusted to the members of an inner circle within the organization. In the original timeline, Akatsuki's inner circle was formed by Pain, Konan, Zetsu, and Madara. They were the only ones, besides Itachi, who knew that Tobi was in reality Madara Uchiha and the true leader of Akatsuki, and the reason to gather the Baijuas. In this timeline, Madara created another inner circle, this time formed by Zetsu, Kisame, Kakuzu and himself. An inner circle where the members were told about the time travel, the truth about Arashi's identity and the original timeline. While Madara had no doubts about Zetsu and Kisame's loyalty, he was a bit hesitant about telling Kakuzu. The pseudo-immortal's main loyalty was to money, not to him. At the end he decided to tell Kakuzu after realizing how much they shared in common. Both of them were the oldest ninjas alive. Both of them were witnesses of the creation of the ninja villages, the great and the lesser ones. Both of them fell in disgrace after being defeated by Hashirama Senju. Kakuzu's reaction was what he expected, much to his amusement. So that means that the bounty on the Yondaime Hokage will be re-established at the time he decides to show his face again. "I really hope that it would stack with the one he already has as Arashi Uzumaki, his head will be priceless," were his words. The new inner circle was having a meeting where they talked about the events on Snow Country. "So we already have the Sanbi and the Rakubi. I have a question, Madara-san. Why you decided to unleash the Sanbi? I understand it in the case of the Rakubi because the Tutakata guy would refuse to give it to us, but Yagura was under your control. Wouldn't have been easier to bring him here to extract the Sanbi?" asked Kisame. Madara looked at him and smiled under his mask. "It has a very simple reason. Remember when I told you that in the original timeline we had to postpone our plan for 3 years although we already captured 2 Baijuas?" he asked. Everyone nodded. "That is something that I could never understand," said Kakuzu. "Why the interruption of the hunt for 3 years when we already started it? According to what you said, the Kyuubi brat trained with Jiraiya during that time in order to prepare himself to face us, and the Shukaku boy became the Kazekage and got the support of his village. That time skip makes no sense." "That's right," said Zetsu's black half. "When Itachi and Kisame failed to retrieve the Kyuubi boy when he was looking for Tsunade, they warned him and his allies about our plans. Why we didn't keep trying to capture him after that instead of waiting 3 years. Zetsu didn't seem to notice the glare that Kisame was sending him for referring the failure, although the most probable thing was that he ignored it." Madara spoke. "The reason we had to postpone our plan was Mei and Kiri's rebel force's fault," he said. "The woman who later would become Godime Mizukage?" asked Kisame. Madara nodded. "Yes, that woman. It started after Zabuza died after facing the team that included the Kyuubi brat. His death while fighting a tyrant like Gato served as inspiration for the rebellion propagandists and turned them even more obstinate. At the end they managed to ambush Yagura, and Mei revealed herself as one of the rebel leaders. They killed Yagura. In order to get into power easily, they started the rumor that Yagura died consumed by his beast's power and not by their hand. Due to Yagura's seal being intact, the Sanbi died with him when he died. For that reason we had to wait 3 years until the Sanbi reformed itself," said Madara. "Then why we didn't capture the other Baijuas during that time? We already had 2, asked Zetsu's white half. "True, But if we captured the remaining Baiju, the major villages would have joined against us and we were not ready to face them yet. Not if we had to resist for 3 years until we had the chance to capture the Sanbi again. It doesn't mean that I stayed with my arms crossed during that time. I used the 2 captured Baijuis to start our White Zetsu army. True, the production was not as fast as it should have been if we had more beasts, but after those 3 years we had more than 50,000 that turned quickly into 100,000 once we captured more beasts, said Madara. The other men nodded in agreement. Madara's reasons to interrupt the operation for 3 years made sense. What are we going to do now? Are we going to wait until we have a decent number of Zetsus to face the villages, or are we going to keep with the Baiju hunt? Asked Kakuzu. We won't give time to our enemies to prepare themselves against us. During the 3 years that the Kyuubi brat spent with Jiraiya, he got the basis that let him create in a few days the S-class jutsu that defeated your future self and to surpass Jiraiya in the sage arts also in a short amount of time. With both Minato and Jiraiya training him, the Naruto of this timeline can be easily considered high Chunin level. I can't imagine how strong he could become if we let them train him for 3 more years. No, this time there won't be a time skip, we will make our move soon, very soon, said Madara. I hope that Minato and Ko will like the little surprise that awaits for them once they return to Konoha. That time that I spent at Iwa won't be in vain, he thought. The group of Konoha ninjas left the resort. The women looked especially cheerful, as the lucky men that slept with them. Everyone was rested minus Hiashi and Neji, who barely slept because their self-imposed duty to watch over Hinata and Naruto, and Lee, who looked a bit bruised. Hayate explained to Sasuke that sometimes they sparred when they sleep, and for that reason he didn't want to share room with any of them. The travel back to Konoha was short and uneventful. Thanks to Minato's technique, they teleported to one of his hidden seals near Konoha, making the equivalent of several travel days in a few seconds. Incredible. We're almost in Konoha. This is the reason because the Hand of Death can do so many high-ranking missions and still have time to train us, the rookie genins. Because you don't have to waste time traveling from a place to another, isn't it? Asked Sakura. Arashi nodded. Yes, I can teleport my team to any place where I placed a seal. I have several of them placed on strategic places among all the elemental countries. Now I suppose that you understand why you shouldn't tell about this to anyone. This is a S-class secret, a very important one. You could imagine the havoc that could cause if other villages find out that Konoha can deploy ninja teams within their territories in an instant. It could cause another ninja war. The punishment for revealing it is dead, he said. All genins nodded, aware of the consequences. I'm almost sure that this is a technique from the Yondaime Hokage. Mom used to tell me about him. With a jutsu like that, I'm not surprised that the God Daime and the Sun Daime have Arashi-san in such a high regard, thought Sasuke. The group arrived at Konoha's gates. It is strange to see Jiraiya's face at your side instead of Tsunade's. I still didn't get used to it, commented Kushina. What surprises me is the order of the faces. I used to think that I would succeed a Yondaime Jiraiya as Hokage and become God Daime, not the other way, said Minato. Yes, I can still remember your reaction when the Sun Daime told you that you would be the next Hokage, said Kushina. Their small chat was interrupted by a female Anbu who appeared before them. Welcome back to Konoha, we have been waiting for your return. Please accompany me to see Hokage-sama. He is currently in a meeting with the Jonins and clan heads concerning the events of your last mission. The Jonin minus Naruto are not required, she said. The older ninjas nodded and dismissed the Genins. It must be something really serious if the Jonins are in the meeting, although it shouldn't be surprising considering that the Mizukage and another Jinchuriki died during the mission. I still can remember how shocked they were when Jiraiya summoned them for a meeting after his proclamation as Hokage and revealed that Madara was the one behind the Kyuubi attack. Many of them felt bad for distrusting the Uchiha clan, thinking that they were the responsibles of the attack, thought Minato. During their way towards the Hokage Tower, they noticed the strange looks that several ninjas were sending to the Uzumakis. They were not the hateful glares that Naruto had to cope when he was younger. Those looks were more related to curiosity or confusion than fear or hate. When they arrived, they saw Jiraiya, Tsunade, Sarutobi, the clan heads and several Jonin ninjas, but before they could say anything the group was boarded by a group of men dressed as scholars. They recognized Shizio Amui, the historian/tailor who reminded of Orochimaru among them. Ah! Finally you arrived. Did you bring the document? Do you have it with you? He asked. The document? How do you know about it? Asked Arashi. I told them, intervened Jiraiya. When the clan heads heard about the document, they hired this group of historians and scholars to analyze it and confirm its authenticity. They even brought documents from the same time to contrast it with them. I never imagined that it could cause such turmoil. said Arashi while he handed the document to Shizio, who took it with extreme care and left the room accompanied by the other scholars. Not everybody is so careless about his ancestry, Uzumaki-san, said the representative of the Kurama clan. We prefer to focus on the future generations. What is the reason for this meeting? I doubt that you made us all just to deliver those old papers. You want to hear about the events at Snow Country from us, don't you? Asked Kushina. Everyone nodded. Yes, although Hokage Dono told us what happened, we want to hear your version of those events, especially considering the version that is circulating at other villages, said Shikaku. What does it say? Asked Hiyashi. According to our spy networks, other villages believe that Arashi Uzumaki, Kushina Uzumaki and Naruto Uzumaki attacked the Yondaime Mizukage and killed him, with Naruto being the one who delivered the killing blow, said the Nara. What? They think that we killed him? It was Madara. He destroyed the Mizukage's seal, unleashing the Sanbi and killing him, protested Naruto. Yes, the Hokage told us, so the responsible was Madara. Is him the same Uchiha Madara who founded Konoha alongside the Hashirama Senju? Asked Jonin. Yes, he is, although I shouldn't refer to him as an Uchiha, he was banished from the clan after all, remarked the Sarutobi. The Jonins began to murmur among them. He is really alive? How can it be possible? Calm down everyone. That man is really Madara. My sources confirmed his identity, he is also the real leader of Akatsuki, said Jiraiya. Isn't that the group of missing nins that hosts Itachi Uchiha and formerly did the same with Orochimaru? Asked Inoiki. The same ones, confirmed Hiyashi. What about the Baijuas? Is it true that he escaped with them and tried to capture with ours? Asked Aoba, referring to the Kyuubi. It is true, Madara now has the Sanbi and the Rakubi. Luckily Naruto could keep Konoha's Baiju away from his hands, said Kakashi. Some of the eldest ninjas looked at Naruto with a newfound respect. Although they were children at the times of Hashirama and Madara, they still remembered how terrible could be the renegade Uchiha and the terror he caused when he got control of the Kyuubi. We already know who is the enemy, what I want to know is why other villages believe that story about us killing the Mizukage, said Kushina. Shikaku handed them a book. This is a copy of Iwa's latest bingo book, it has a section dedicated to the Uzumaki family, he said. Me too? Asked Naruto. Yes, you are included in the book, said Jiraiya. Yes. I'm awesome. I can't wait until Sasuke finds out, exclaimed Naruto. Well, Sasuke also appears in the book, after all he killed Raiga, one of the swordsmen of the mist, pointed Shikaku. Those fools were unworthy of calling themselves swordsmen of the mist, I just hope that Mangetsu and the others are teaching them to not dishonor their names in the other world, said Zabuza. That reminds me that one of our teams found a boy with the power to turn himself into water who claims to be Mangetsu's younger brother. He said that he wants to join Konoha under the condition that you teach him swordsmanship, Zabuza. We also need you to verify his identity, said Jiraiya. So that brat Suigetsu is here? I'll better go to see him before he begins to bring havoc, said Zabuza. I will lead you to him, said one of the Jonins. Meanwhile, Naruto and his family were reading the bingo book. Name, Kushina Uzumaki. Affiliation, Konoha. Rank, Jonin. Sex, female. Age, about her late 30s but she appears to be in her middle 20s. Estimated threat level, about A+ class or S class. Notable aliases, the Crimson Death, the Red Hot Habanero, Tomato. Married to Arashi Uzumaki and mother of Naruto Uzumaki, see their respective profiles. Current clan head of the Uzumaki clan and member of the elite squad known as the Hand of Death. A very dangerous kunoichi, one of the few with cage-level chakra reserves, powerful ninjutsu, the ability to use her hair as a weapon. Her skill in Fuinjutsu is unknown but it is estimated to be extremely high if we take in consideration that she is one of the last remnants of Uzushiogaku and the current clan head of the Uzumaki clan. It is also confirmed that she can use her chakra to create chains powerful enough to subdue Baijuas, a trait that confirms the bonds that her clan had with the Senju. It could explain why her family and her could kill the Yondaime Mizukage and the Rakubi Jinchuriki. It is not recommended to engage combat with her unless necessary. As final note, it looks like that she had a relationship with Minato Namikaze, aka the Yellow Flash, aka the Yondaime Hokage, before she married Arashi Kazama, who took her family name. How they find out about Red Hot Habanero and Tomato? Exclaimed an enraged Kushina. So you were the Red Hot Habanero? I thought that it was a myth to scare rookie students, commented Aoba before receiving a killing glare from Kushina. They began to read Arashi's profile. Name, Arashi Uzumaki. Affiliation, Konoha. Rank, Jonin. Sex, male. Age, about his 30s. Estimated threat level, S-class. Notable aliases, the Black Angel. Married to Kushina Uzumaki and father of Naruto Uzumaki, see their respective profiles. Consort of the clan, head of the Uzumaki clan and leader of the elite squad known as the Hand of Death. A ninja with cage-level chakra reserves and powerful and unusual jutsus like his ability to fly, only surpassed by the Sun Daimatsu Chikage, or his Fuuten Bunshines. His skill in Fuin Jutsu is said to be comparable or even superior to the Yellow Flash. He is also the bearer of a blood limit that lets him heal several times faster than a normal human, with the bonus of not leaving any sequels of the wounds like scars. There is little info about this man. It looks like that he was a ghost ninja specialized on A and S class missions under the Yondaime Hokage's direct command. It is confirmed that he assisted the Yondaime Hokage, aka the Yellow Flash, to defeat the Kyuubi with the Hokage dying. He is also one of witnesses of the Yondaime Kazekage's death, one of the main responsibles of the Yondaime Mizukage's death, fought the Yondaime Reikage's brother, and other Jinchuriki. Because all this information, his power level and his previous status as Ghost Ninja Arashi Uzumaki is now considered the main suspect of the Yondaimetsu Chikage's death. It is not recommended to engage combat with him. Minato looked at the book furious. What the? They are practically blaming me for the deaths of almost all Yondaimes. I just happened to be around when they died. The only one who actually died at my hands was the Yondaimetsu Chikage, he said. Well, I'm also responsible for my own death, but sacrificing oneself hardly counts as killing, he thought. Then it was when Minato realized that he admitted that he killed the Yondaimetsu Chikage. The Jonins were looking at him perplexed while Jiraiya slapped his forehead. You may be a real genius most the time, Minato, but sometimes you can be really stupid, he thought. The Yondaimetsu Chikage? I thought that Iwa was still ruled by the Sandaimetsu Chikage, that Aniki old man, commented Naruto. The Yondaimetsu Chikage was elected by Iwa's council just after the war ended. Aniki got very ill and Iwasa's council chose a man loved Sayabasara to act as temporary Tsuchikage. He was a very powerful Iwa Jonin who was resentful by the result of the war and wanted to start another one to avenge Iwa. The Yondaime Hokage came to the conclusion that this man was threat for peace and sent me to kill him. I made it appear that killed himself while experimenting with a forbidden jutsu, then Aniki got better and retook his position as Tsuchikage. Luckily he didn't like Saya at all and decided to not order a more depth research, explained Arashi. Never mind, said Jiraiya, I declare Arashi's implication in the Yondaimetsu Chikage's death a S-class secret with the punishment of death. Konoha will deny any implication in that death. You know what could happen if they find out. No one here wants another great shinobi war. Everyone nodded. Let's see what they say in my profile, exclaimed an excited Naruto. Name, Naruto Uzumaki. Affiliation, Konoha. Rank, Jinan. Sex, male. Age, in his early teens. Estimated threat level, between B and B+ class. Notable aliases, the Prince of Konoha. Son of Arashi Uzumaki and Kushina Uzumaki, see their respective profiles. He is the current heir of the Uzumaki clan and one of the Konoha 15, a graduation class formed mainly by heirs of some of Konoha's most renowned clans. Although he is still a fresh Jinan, he possesses cage-level chakra reserves, Jonin-level jutsus and advanced training in Fuin Jutsu. Despite his young age, this Konoha Jinan has proved to be a surprisingly dangerous opponent. It is confirmed that before he graduated at the academy he killed Miss Steam and brothers, defeated a team of rain nins and fought against the Ichibi helped by some of his classmates. At the time he graduated he managed to defeat the stupid brothers, and recently he defeated one of the swordsmen of the mist helped by his teammate Hyuga Hinata, see her profile. He fought against the Yondaime Mizukage along with his parents and he is suspected to be the one who delivered the final blow. Because his heritage and the fact that he has been chosen by the Yondaime Hokage to be his apprentice, see Jiraiya's profile, it is suspected that he is being trained to be a future Hokage, hence the alias to denominate him. It is not recommended to not engage combat with him if you are below high Chunin level. If it is not your case, it is recommended to terminate him at any cost if possible. As final note and curiosity, this boy, whose mother had a previous relationship with Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, has a surprising resemblance to him. Wow. Iwa is afraid of my awesomeness. I have to show this book to my friends. It also has profiles for Hinata-chan, Sasuke, Haku and Neji, thought a happy Naruto, unaware of the huge killer intent that was coming from his mother. How they dare! Exclaimed Kushina, grabbing the book while her hair began to move resembling the Kyuubi's tails. Those bastards are insinuating that I cheated my husband. Who the hell wrote this piece of crap? The red hot habanero is back. I'm scared. Where's my mommy? Thought a jonin who happened to be one of those kids who called Kushina tomato. And nobody here questions your loyalty to your husband, Kushina-san, said Shikaku. The blood tests that Arashi made when he returned to Konoha and the blood limit that Naruto shares with him don't let any doubt about his parentage. Kushina seemed to calm down a little at Shikaku's words. Minato for his part was more concerned about Naruto's new status as preferred target for Iwa. Who wrote that? Now half Iwa will want my son's head. That Prince of Konoha nickname only helps to motivate them even more, he said. Well, I actually like the nickname. It implies that I will become Konoha's next king, the Hokage, thought Naruto. It was written by the current Tsuchikage, said Inoiki. Aniki? Why would he do that? Asked Arashi. Aniki is no longer the Tsuchikage, said Jiraiya. He resigned his position last week and nominated Mutabasara as Godime Tsuchikage. Mutabasara? Is he related to Sayabasara, the Ondime Tsuchikage? Asked Arashi. Jiraiya nodded. Yes, he is Seiya's younger brother. He was just a regular jonin until several months ago when he began to show a great progress in his skill to the point that he was able to rival the Tsuchikage and his brother. We suppose that Aniki decided to give him the Tsuchikage seat because he finally found somebody able to replace him. I think that he wanted vengeance for his brother's death and found out that you were the man with the better chances of being Seiya's killer, said Jiraiya. However, it doesn't explain how he got that info or how he got strong enough to being selected as Tsuchikage, thought Tsunade. In the original timeline, Muta died during Naruto and Jiraiya-kun's training trip, killed by Kakashi during a mission where Muta was on the opposite side. Kakashi told that Muta was strong for a jonin but not enough to be considered Kage level. Let's take some things in consideration, said Jiraiya. First of all, we will deny any implication Arashi in the death of the Yondaime Tsuchikage. Second, we will have to claim that the Yondaime Mizukage and the Rakubi Jinchuriki were not killed by the Uzumaki, and more important, that Konoha doesn't have the Sanbi and the Rakubi. It won't be a problem to convince sooner, but other villages won't be so easy. This meeting is finished. Wait a moment, there is something that I want to clarify before we leave. Something concerning Arashi Uzumaki, said Shikaku. Everyone looked at Shikaku. As Konoha's jonin commander, Shikaku was considered the most intelligent man of Konoha and one of the most respected ninjas. Usually he kept his mouth closed during these meetings, but when he had something to say, everyone shut up and listened to him. Arashi got in front of Shikaku. What do you want to know, Nara-san? He asked. I will be point blank because beating around is, as my son would say, too troublesome. Although I know that many of the things that Iwa said are bullshit, they made some good points, especially about Naruto and his similarities with one of the Yondimes. I'm very ashamed to not noticing it before, said Shikaku. Arashi filled the room with killer intent. What are you insinuating, Nara? Asked Arashi. Shikaku almost fainted, but he managed to keep his cool. You misunderstood me, Uzumaki-san. I have no doubts about your parentage, the proofs cannot be doubted, the same way that we can't doubt about the similarities between the Yondaime and Naruto, or more concrete, the similarities between Yondaime and yourself. Or, as the Nidaime Hokage proved with his jutsu and the Sandaime Kazekage with his return, the fact that people can be back from the dead. Arashi realized it. He found out, he thought. Shikaku looked at his eyes. What I want to know. Are you the Yondaime Hokage? He asked. Arashi stood there for a few seconds and spoke. Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage, is dead. He died when Konoha refused to follow his last will and the Sandaime had no choice but to proclaim a certain law, he said. Before anybody could say anything, he disappeared in a yellow flash and reappeared at Kushina and Naruto's side. Everyone except those who already knew the truth were frozen on the spot. It can't be. Oh, crap. How I couldn't realize it sooner. Arashi looked at other ninjas. All that you have to know is that I'm stronger than the Yondaime Hokage ever was and that Konoha has my loyalty. As long as Konoha keeps my family's loyalty, he said before disappearing with his family. After a few minutes of not saying anything, the Jonins and clan heads began to freak out and looked at Jiraiya looking for answers. If you are worth of your position, you wouldn't have to guess anything. He is a man who, after making the ultimate sacrifice, was betrayed by his village. You should be grateful that his son loves this village more than he ever did, because it is the only thing that prevented him to become Konoha's worst nightmare, said Jiraiya. Everyone understood Jiraiya's words. Nobody dared to say anything, they were too ashamed. Jiraiya looked at them. I suppose that there's no need to tell it, but the truth behind Arashi's mask is another S-class secret. It's up to him to decide when he will reveal it to the public. If he ever does. Now yes, This meeting is over. Later, when Hiyashi got out from the building, he found Hinata and Neji waiting for him. "What happened, Tosan? You look tensed," she asked. "It is a long story, I will explain during our way home," he said. Hiyashi told them about the new entries, at Iwa's bingo book, the Nutsuchikage and the Jonins and clan heads finding out about Arashi's true identity. "I hope that Minato Townsend is fine," thought Hinata. At their arrival, they were greeted by Kyoko and Hanabi, who tackled Hinata and embraced her. "Ne-chan. Tosan. Neji-ni-san. You are back. How was your mission at Snow Country? Is it true that you will appear in a movie? Tell me," she asked. They smiled at the little girl's antics. A branch member headed to them. "Hiyashi-sama, Hinata-sama. The elders want to talk to you about the last events," he said. "What do they want?" thought Hiyashi. It must be about what happened at Snow Country. I remarked the Hyuga Jonins about the need to not talk about Minato's real identity. Those fossils can't know about it. The elders were specially cheerful, at least as cheerful as old Hyugas could be. "Ah, Hinata, we were talking about your accomplishments during your last mission," said one of them. "Not only you managed to escape from a cage with the power of a Baijuu, but later you defeated one of the swordsmen of the mist, and it was confirmed that you were crucial to end the battle against mist forces," said Lady Miho. "I'm sorry, but you are wrong. The escape from the Mizukage was mainly Naruto's work, and defeating the swordsman was something that we did together," explained Hinata. "You are very modest, Hinata. You have been included in Iwa's bingo book after all. Talking about Uzumaki-san, we heard that you already managed to seduce him. Very good job, especially now that his popularity will rise since other villages will consider him the closest thing Konoha has to a prince," explained Lady Miho. "The plan. I completely forgot about it," thought a shocked Hinata. What I should do?" Just at that moment, another branch member appeared. "Hiyashi-sama, Naruto Uzumaki is at the hall asking for an audience with you," he said. "What does he want?" asked Hiyashi. "He said that he came to ask for your permission to court your daughter," responded the branch member. "I see, tell him that we will meet at my office in 10 minutes, he said. "Yes sir." "Oh, something else. Bring the Hyuga family sword there," said Hiyashi. A man was walking through Konoha's streets towards his home, ignoring the looks that people was giving him. That man was Momochi Zabuza, the former demon of the mist, now a Konoha Jonin, part of the Hand of Death squad. He has been spending the last 2 hours testing the swordsmanship skills of Suigetsu, the younger brother of his deceased teammate Mangetsu. To Zabuza's surprise, Suigetsu happened to be as good as his older brother with their power to turn themselves into water. That gave Suigetsu the same talent for Kenjutsu as Mangetsu, the ability to adapt his body to different sword styles and weapons. That was one of the reasons because Mangetsu could master all the swords of the mist. He could transform his body to be nimble like Kushimaru to handle Nuabari, or bulk like Jinin to handle Kabutori. The other reason was the extremely high water affinity that let the brothers channel water chakra through the blades pretty easily. At the end, Zabuza agreed to instruct Suigetsu and Kenjutsu with the condition to pledge loyalty to Konoha by Jiraiya's request. To Zabuza's surprise, Suigetsu didn't mind to join Konoha. Flashback: "Tell me, brat. Why do you want to become a ninja of this village? I remember that back in Mist you were not interested at all to be a Mist ninja," asked Zabuza. "This is not Mist, old man. I don't have any interest to be the whip dog of a village where people hates those who are blessed with special abilities. And I was right, after Nisan's death I had to flee from the village to save my life. After that I wandered through the countries looking for you, but that snake freak caught me," said Suigetsu while he took a sip of water. "You are talking about Orochimaru," said Zabuza. Suigetsu nodded. "Yes, that guy. He handed me to that Amachi guy who began to experiment on me, trying to find out how my powers worked, and I'm not interested about your experience as guinea pig. I want to know why you want to join Konoha," interrupted Zabuza. "Oh yes. After some days at this village I found out that, unlike Mist, Konoha values very much special powers like mine. Besides, Konoha now has more Mist swords than Mist itself. If a new generation of the 7 swordsmen is bound to appear, it will happen in this village, not in Mist," said Suigetsu. "So the truth is that you want to reform the 7 swordsmen," said Zabuza. "Yes, you already proved that those fools who received the swords were not worth of them," said Suigetsu. "And you think that you are?" asked Zabuza. "Of course I am. Just give me one of the swords that your group got and I will show you everyone a true swordsman," exclaimed Suigetsu. "I will see what I can do. We already have candidates to wield most the swords we brought, but with your position as the brother of one of the swordsmen you have a good chance to get one. It can help to vouch Konoha's possession of the swords," explained Zabuza. "That will be the best decision. By the way, I noticed that your disciple Haku is called by your family name. Does it mean that you already told him that you are his true father? Asked Suigetsu with a sly smile. In less than a second the boy found himself impaled by Zabuza's sword. The blade didn't hurt him because his water-like nature, but to his horror he noticed that his body was beginning to turn into ice. How do you know? Asked Zabuza in a cold tone while emitting killing intent. If Suigetsu didn't was too used to life or death situations he would have fainted from the killing intent. My brother knew about the affair that you had with a woman related with the Yukina clan, you told him. When one day you appeared with a boy found on the streets that casually had their blood limit, he didn't have to think too much to realize that he could be more than a tool, said Suigetsu. With a swift swing Zabuza removed the sword from Suigetsu's half-frozen body. You won't tell anybody about that, especially Haku. I will be the one who decides if Haku should know about our parentage, said Zabuza. Suigetsu nodded. Very well, said Zabuza. I will meet you tomorrow at 7 a.m. to start your training. Remember to bring several water bottles, you will need them, said Zabuza while he left. I thought that life in Konoha softened him, but he is still as bloodthirsty as ever. He just learned to hide it better, thought Suigetsu while he did his best to melt the ice. And flashback on his way home Zabuza thought about the changes that Haku and him experimented on their lives since they joined Konoha. At first people was afraid of him and distrusted him. It was not a surprise considering that he was a missing ninja from Mist. The surprise came after word spread about his accomplishments during his missions with the Hand of Death, especially after the mission at Snow Country where he fought against his former village, proving his loyalty to Konoha. Now most Konoha inhabitants treated him with respect and some of the younger ninjas even with admiration. True, there was still people wary of him, but it was nothing compared to the treatment he got in Mist. At first I thought that Minato was an idealistic fool when I found out that he really hoped that Konoha would have treated his son as a hero, but after seeing how trustful they are after I proved myself I see that his hopes were not unfounded, thought. However Haku fared much better. If someone like Zabuza was accepted by the village, someone like Haku was welcome with open arms. With his blood limit, his kind nature, his looks, his talent as a ninja and being a distant relative of the Nidaime, obviously he barely had to do anything to be accepted. Zabuza chuckled when he reminded the faces of the girls who asked dates to Haku when they found out that he was his father and how they reacted when he warned them to not take advantage of his precious son. Almost none of them asked for a date again, but it didn't decrease Haku's popularity at all. Zabuza didn't need to ask Haku if he was happy at Konoha, the smile he had every day was enough to tell. Now he was part of a village who accepted his power, was in a team with people of his age, and he was becoming one of the most promising medic nins for the following years. Zabuza no longer considered Haku a tool, now he saw him as his son, and for that reason he knew that he had to tell him the truth. Stupid Konoha and their stupid will of fire, they infected me with their ideals, thought. He arrived at his home, Naruto's former apartment. It was not the best home at Konoha but enough for two persons, especially if they were used to the harsh life of missing nins. Now that we don't have to give most our income to Mist's resistance, perhaps we could move to a bigger place, thought. He was greeted by a smiling Haku. Welcome home, Zabuza-sama. Did you test Suigetsu-kun's skills? Are you going to train him? Asked Haku. Zabuza nodded while he took out his mask. Yes, he passed my test and will receive training from me. By the way, Tsunade talked in your favor and it looks like the Hokage will allow you to be the wielder of Nuabari, said Zabuza. Really? That's wonderful. Will you teach me to use it? Asked a very happy Haku. Of course, people will be strange if they find out that I didn't teach my son how to handle a sword, said Zabuza. Haku's mood drooped. True, they believe that we are related. They don't know that I killed my real father, said Haku in a sad tone. He noticed that Zabuza was looking at him with a very serious face. Actually, you could be the one who is wrong, said Zabuza. What do you mean, Zabuza-sama? Asked Haku stranged. Zabuza handed him a photo. Haku gasped. It was a portrait of his mother and him. He recognized it as one of the few photos they had on his former home. That's Kasan. Why do you have a pic of us? He asked. No, there is no turn back, I have to tell him, thought Zabuza. Haku, do you really believe that it was a coincidence that the boy who I took under my care happened to have the Hyoton blood limit? I knew perfectly who you were when I found you. I also knew about what happened with your family, said Zabuza. Haku looked at him at shock. So that is the reason you took me. A part of me always wondered why you chose a street urchin like me instead of a Jonin from Mist's Academy. How did you find out, Zabuza-sama? Asked Haku. Your blood limit actually was not the main reason I took you under my care. About your question, I had a talk with a surviving man at the ruins of your old home, in fact the owner of the house, said Zabuza with a serious face. My father has survived? Babbled Haku. Yes, he explained me the reasons for killing your mother and trying to do the same with you, said Zabuza. Haku sit down, he couldn't stand on his feet anymore. The reasons? Why do you speak in plural? He killed Ka-san because our blood limit, said Haku. Zabuza got at Haku's side and put his hand on the boy's shoulder. The truth is that there is another reason that explains why he did what he did. He found out that his wife had an affair with another man, one that she actually loved. You are the result of that. He was not your real father, said Zabuza. Surprisingly, Haku felt relieved at Zabuza's revelations. I didn't kill my father. The truth is that he never was my father, but knowing that I didn't kill the man who raised me makes me feel better, thought. What happened with him? He asked. I killed him, responded Zabuza in a cold tone. His execution lasted 3 days where all my attention was focused to make him learn the true meaning of pain. His agony was so terrible that I have no doubt that at time he arrived at hell he probably felt like he was in the paradise. Why you killed him that way? Asked Haku horrified. Because he killed the only woman I ever loved, responded Zabuza. Haku paled. What? I was the man who had an affair with your mother. Haku, what I'm trying to tell you is that I am your real father, said Zabuza. If there was a person at Konoha who could know what Haku was feeling at that moment, that person was Naruto. The sensation when you find out that you are related to the person who you look up. Why you are my father? He babbled. Zabuza nodded. Yes I am. And I would be very happy if you let me call you son. I know that I don't have the right to do so. I treated you as a tool, not as a son, but... Zabuza couldn't finish to talk. Before he realized it, he had Haku hugging him with tears on his eyes. Tito-san. Why you are my To-san. I'm so happy, said Haku. Zabuza didn't say anything, he just hugged back his son. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.